Hey guys, it's No Prospect here, and as you all know, there was a Jett revamp with quotation marks that just came out. Um, Me and a couple of friends took a look at it, and this video is just my thoughts and just a basis of what the update brings to the table. I'm just going to be reading off the notes here as I go through each job. So, we go to first job. So, one of the big changes is each star line, when you upgrade the next one after it, such as when you upgrade star line 2 after star line 1, it would increase the damage of the previous star line. What they did with this update is they took that away. So now star line 1 does not increase in damage when you upgrade every other star line, which it's kind of weird they did that because it wasn't super necessary to do it, but it is what it is. I'm just going to talk about the relevant stuff. So the star lines now no longer increase in damage. They took away a vortex jump. It was a little teleport skill we had. If you've seen me use it on their videos, after using the 2 dashes, you can use vortex jump, and that would give you a little extra boost forward. But now it's completely removed. We can't use it anymore. It takes away some of the mobility, which really sucks. And I just don't understand why they took it away. Let's see. So with the Season Hunter, what it did was it gave us the ability to surpass the max movement speed, which is why Jett was very mobile. We had super high jump, super high walk speed, and all that stuff. They took that away. They gave 20 attack power, which is nice, I guess. And they just gave us the 20 jump and 40 speed. Nothing much to say about that one. Galactic Might, they just took away the HP and defense stats, which is, if you know, like if you look at my HP right now, it's almost 100k. Jett has really high HP for a Dex class, so and because a lot of bosses do percent HP, HP doesn't matter, so it's not that big of a deal. And that's pretty much it from there. They increased to level 20, which I don't know. It is what it is. So overall, first job, it sucks I took away Vortex Jump because that was a really nice skill. And also for Spacewalk, when Jets use Spacewalk, they would do a flip at their double jump, but now they don't. They stay in animation. They just stay in their still animation, which means it's not that big of a deal. But the flip was nice, but it's not that big of a problem. So Starline 2. So the main problem that comes to the question is Starline 2 in second job. So because Starline 1 increased in damage from all the other Starlines, and if you had a node, which I do have, it would do a massive amount of damage, and it would compete with our rapid fire Starforce salvo. But since that doesn't apply anymore, Starline 2 is the only stationary Starline that does not, it's not a rush skill. And as you can see here, it's pretty fast. So this is now the new Starline 1 in a sense, which I'll get into explaining a little later. Stellar Impact, it wasn't a skill I use a lot in my opinion. So they gave it a cooldown, which was kind of weird because some Jets actually did use this for mobbing and training. So I don't understand why they did that. Vortex Cross. So this is the first part of this skill right here. They decrease the damage and the number of enemies you hit. This is a nerf because first off they decrease the damage, and in my type of training that I do in MTS2, the dash, I still one shot with it, but I now hit less enemies with it. So it kind of takes away the mobbing feature of it, which I assume they did it because they want it to be more of a movement skill than an actual mobbing skill, but I just don't like what they did with that. That was just a nerf. So I'll be hitting less monsters with it. Next one. So Cosmic Shield, what they actually did was they gave 30% more knockback resistance. This is really weird because with this, as well as Jett's high gravity skill, this actually gives us 100% stance. So if I were to show you right now, yeah, I'm at 100% stance, which is very weird because we're a gun class, we're a dex class, which unlike mechanics where you're in the big mech, we don't have any of that, which is very weird in my opinion. But it's, I mean, 100% stance is nice, so it wouldn't really affect. Well, it's more of a positive effect. What else? Oh, they got rid of Volt Barrage, which just increased the damage of Blaster Barrage. It's not that big of a deal. It wasn't used that much. So, third job. Starline 3, like I said, other Starlines isn't affected when you upgrade Starline 4. So, it's just your typical rush skill now. It's not that important anymore. Turret deployment. Nothing changed with that. Falling Stars. This skill, back before the update, you would hold down the button and Jett would jump up in the air and do like a rapid fire skill. Now they changed it. It lasts way shorter, and it's a cooldown of 10 seconds. Let me turn on the graphics so you guys see better. So basically, it would just shoot a couple lasers in there. It's done. It wasn't a useful skill. It was a cool skill. I liked it. But what they did with it now is just kind of sucks now. Even more than it did before. Cosmic Upheaval. So, for anyone that was training Jett mules or for the Jett trainers out there, you would use this skill in certain maps to pull down monsters. And basically, it was a good mobbing skill. But what they did now was they gave it a cooldown of 3 seconds. And the main problem with this was there was a delay after you'd use it, but when you used it before the update, as long as you attacked right after it, you could use it right away. But now with the cooldown of 3 seconds, you can't do that anymore. You have to wait 3 seconds. I find this very unnecessary because, I mean, this skill it's just a regular training skill. They shouldn't have given it a cooldown in my opinion. But, I don't run this company, so it is whatever. Slipstream Suit. So if you look here, they decrease the final damage on it. And if you knew this skill before the update, it's supposed to give us 45 dex. It actually still does, if I recall. Because take this out. When I was using this skill, I believe my deck still went up. Yeah, my dex still goes up. So I believe it does still give dex, and there's actually a bug with this skill. They decrease the final damage by 2%, but it still gives 22%. If you see here, I have 32. I'm gonna get into the fourth job soon, but it gives 32. So I just want you guys to remember that it gives 32% final damage in total right now. Spatial shifts. This is the second dash that we have. They decrease the damage and they decrease the number of attacks, so it's another nerf for high level training, which sucks. And I think that was it for this job. They decrease clairvoyant from 20 to 14. I feel like they changed the SPs in some of these skills, because some of these skills are like 14 and all stuff, because they're moving. I think they're moving SP around, because if you recall, we had extra 5 SP. That's just what I think. I don't know. It's weird having 14 points in a skill. Fourth job, Star Force Salvo. Oh, before that. So if you notice in the skills here, there is no Starline 4. They have completely removed it. Honestly, I don't know why. Before the update, Starline 4 just gave more damage to Starline 1 and Starline 3. And it was fine that way, but they just took it away, which I'm not a big fan of. So, Star Force Salvo, this is supposed to be our bossing skill. They changed it now where you can actually jump when using it. So similar to Bowmaster's Rapid Fire now, where you can move and jump around with it. This is actually nice because, it's just more movement. But, this update is basically, they give you a couple of good things in replace of major nerfs to the class. Backup beatdown. So what they did was they increased the damage on it, and they increased the number of attacks that it does, and they buffed the damage on the final attack when you kind of let out a final blast, and it does a massive amount of damage. But what they did was they gave it a 60-second cooldown. That is very stupid, because the final attack on backup beatdown, where you see me using the skill, the final attack on it, a lot of people use it for training at lower levels because it did a lot of damage. But now, when you use a skill, you can't use it for a minute. So the skill's basically useless. It wasn't as useful back then, but it's just completely useless in my opinion. Planet Buster. So for Planet Buster, I believe what happened with it was a nerf. And this is my opinion, because I know some people may disagree with me. So the old Planet Buster, it did 1150% of damage with a 5-second cooldown, and it did around, I believe, 6 to 7 hits. And what happened was they changed it now where they cut the damage in more than half. And they took away the cooldown. So now you can just spam the skill. I mean, it is cool for training, especially at lower levels. You can just jump around the map and spam Planet Buster around now. But one of the main uses of Planet Buster was in the bossing rotation. What I used to do is rapid fire and then use Planet Buster, and then it would be on cooldown. It did a lot of damage and it helped out a lot. but now it's more of a mobbing skill than you can use for bossing, because you're not gonna spam this in a boss. It's just not optimal. But you know, it's just this update's just a little frustrating for me. Starfall, they reduced the cooldown by 20 seconds, and I believe no, just reduce the cooldown and it costs more MP. So nothing special about that. Maple Warrior, uh, it's not that they changed the skill, it's just that now instead of just getting the skill automatically when you hit 4th job, now you have to do a quest, which is really unnecessary. Like, you literally just get 4th job before, and Maple Warrior's in your skill. Now you have to get 4th job and you have to do a quest. That's just taking extra time to do it. It's not a long quest. You just talk to the Maple Goddess and she gives it to you, but it's just like, what's the whole point of that? Gravity Booster. This used to be a party skill a couple months ago, but now it's not anymore. I don't understand why they did that. It gave crit rate, which is a good party skill buff, especially for classes low in crit rate. And it gave knockback resistance. But what really kind of annoyed me was, if you look here at the boss damage, it gives boss damage plus 20%. It was as a passive, so it will be implemented into your boss damage when you upgrade the skill. But now they changed it to it's an active skill. I don't really get why they had to do that. It makes no sense whatsoever. I don't know. Strike Force Showdown. So the skill we've been begging for a node. We just been constantly, even Jett or Falco, he's been talking about it too. Like, just one of the main skills that would give us that damage boost we want. And all they did was they took the 5 skill points and put it into Strike Force Showdown. So now it gives an extra 30% damage. That's not fixing anything. That's just ridiculous. And the big skill, the Jett Supreme Enhancement skill, maximizing the attack power by carefully controlling the power of the core that flows inside you. What does it give? Plus 30 attack and plus 10 final damage. The big skill, the main thing they were trying to talk about, it gives 30 attack and 10% final damage. Your skills get tons of over 100 final damage alone when you upgrade it. I don't understand why this is such a big deal. And I told you guys, remember the 32% final damage. So basically what happens is Slipstream Suit gives 20. This gives 10. And they took away the 2 from Slipstream Suit. But if you look, we have, I took it out of my Pippa. We have 32% final damage, so they didn't fix it. They just, it doesn't show the 2% and it doesn't show the 45% dex that it gives us. So then we're going to get into the hyper skills. So for hyper skills, due to the fact that they changed Planet Buster, now they do Planet Buster gives more damage. But if you look here, it still says critical chance. Oh my goodness. So for that, I just put it in these 3, and I just put it in the Star Force Salvo. And then here's another skill that we use, Singularity Shock. So they increased the damage of it. They increased the stun chance, which is very, pretty good. The last attack will hit 10 enemies. That's pretty good. 30-second cooldown. If you look at my last couple boss videos I've done, I like to use this in Planet Buster a lot while using Rapid Fire. So the fact that two of my bossing skills are now completely nerfed in a sense. I say it's a nerf because it makes my DPS output very small now, because they added to my damage, and now I don't have that anymore. They fixed the bug where it still said Rising Cosmos gave lets you go past a damage cap back when the cap was 50 mil, but it doesn't do it anymore. They decreased the amount of health you gain from. It's weird because it was Bionic Maximizer, now it's Bionic Resilience, but it doesn't even matter. And they finally gave us the proper Maple Warrior, so now we don't stay in animation when it does that. So now we're gonna go to the nodes. So what happened was, let's go to a node master. So go to node master. Shoot. I don't want to show my pick, but basically I'm just gonna read it off the notes. So basically, Starline 1, 2, 3, and 4 nodes that you have in that you had in your matrix, they're all changed to Starline 1. The vortex jump boost node that you have, which no one has, it will become Starline 2, and your turret is now no longer has a node. So the main problem with our turret was it was not affected by final damage. So basically what happens is, if we go here, that's stupid. You have to have your pick now. I don't like that. So basically, if you put down the turret, I have over 40k stat fully buffed. So why does my turret only do 53 mil? It's just stupid, honestly. I'm baffled that they did this. Let's go back to Esfera. So basically, my thoughts on this update is just, this update is absolutely just garbage. This is a major nerf to a class that's already weak. I'm just baffled how, they took a look at, Jett's damage, and they just reduced it. They just massively reduced it to the ground. And I want to talk about bossing again, because as you realize, there was a debate between Starline 1 and Star Force Salvo, because Starline 1 was inputting the same, almost, probably sometimes was even more damage than Star Force Salvo, because Strike Force Showdown is extremely weak. Now what's going on is, what's going on now is Starline 2 is having the same effect. We were doing some damage tests yesterday when the update came out, and when you have Starline 2, it's just. Oh, yeah, and our roll of dice is not working either. When you're just doing it, it just. It does almost more. It does almost the same amount of damage as Star Force Salvo, which is just ridiculous because how do you have a fourth job rapid fire skill that's weaker, almost weaker than a first or second job skill? That doesn't make any sense. Uh, I'm just astonished. All we really got from this update was 10% final damage, really, and they just nerfed. They nerfed a bunch of stuff to the ground. They nerfed backup beatdown. They nerfed planet buster. They nerfed singularity shock. They didn't even 30% damage strike force showdown. That's just stupid. They nerfed cosmic upheaval. They nerfed spatial shift. They nerfed vortex cross. They took away our mobility. They nerfed season hunter a little bit, and they nerfed Starline 1. It's just they people on the forums were talking about. They literally made it weaker than Jett already was, and that is 100% true. Jett is now weaker than before. The only thing they really pandered to was to Jett's mobbing, because now you can spam Planet Buster and all that stuff. It's easier to mob now because you don't have to, dance around the map or stuff like that. I'm just gonna show. So with the Planet Buster now having no cooldown, you can just go around the map. Oh, and they made changes to, and this is how I know this is more pander to mobbing, because they made changes to the Starlines now. Before you could really only use Starline 1 in the air. Now you can use Starline 2, so you can jump around with this. So yeah, maybe the mobbing can be a little better because it's not optimal to use Cosmic Upheaval with 3-second cooldown anymore. Actually, no, my bad. That was a mistake. You could use Starline 2 in the air. One thing they did though is you can use Ally Fury in the air. This videos are like I've been playing Jett for a long time, and I devoted myself to the class because this class was super fun to play, and even though it was weaker, I still enjoyed playing it because, especially back then, it was more about fun because I wasn't going to be able to reach the funding I have now from back then. But like as I progressed more and more into the game, and I realized just how handicapped I am in certain bosses and in certain aspects of the game, it's just I can't even contribute to party DPS because I'm just too weak. There's so much. Every class in this game, Beast Hammer is stronger than Jett. Like, if you're bossing, it's best to take a Beast Hammer because not only was for support, they get better support buffs, but now they do more damage than we do. And I'm going to hold on to that. I know the fact they do more damage than we do. I just. They talk about how this is some, like, revolutionary thing that they're doing for the class, but literally they just smacked us in the face. I don't even know where I'm gonna go from here, honestly, because this is stupid. I'm contemplating on just switching because this is too weak for me, even for me. Like, fully buff, like, and of course, like, things are working, but like oh, I forgot this. I'm 48k stat fully buffed. Yet I can barely pull my weight. I'm getting out damaged by classes that are like any other class that people are like 30k stat. Like I'm getting out damaged by them, and this, and that was before the update too. I'm getting out damaged by people with lower stat than me, and now with this update, I'm definitely for 100% fact getting out damaged because I don't even. This update is just complete garbage, man. I can't even take this anymore. This is just stupid. They better address this immediately because I know other Jet mains are not happy about this. This is not a good change for the class. We were already weak and now we just, it's like how there's no way you could get any lower than that. And Nexon being who they are, they literally just made it lower. They lowered the expectations. Even it's just to the I'm so flustered I can't even form words anymore, man. This is just I've already been going too long with this video. This is just absolutely ridiculous. I am just astonished. I'll probably make another video of where I figure out what I'm gonna do, or if Nexon gives an update on this Jet changes, because these aren't good. Uh, if you watched it, thanks for watching, and I guess next video is when I'll see you guys. Peace.